Thanks everybody for coming. Today is the deadline for public comment to the Federal Reserve and two other federal agencies that have proposed new rules governing credit card practices nationwide. And we in the Ohio Treasury had made it a point very specifically to urge Ohioans to comment in volume on these rules because we want to see these rules adopted. The federal regulatory process has been neglected for years in terms of credit card practices. And finally, after about 2,000 complaints were registered about different credit card practices, the three federal agencies, which are the Federal Reserve Board, which regulates federal banks, the Office of Thrift Supervision, which regulates federal savings associations, and the National Credit Union Administration, which regulates federally chartered credit unions, finally came forward and decided to exercise their authority under the Truth in Lending Act to impose some new regulations on the credit card industry, governing things like making sure you have a reasonable amount of time to pay your bill before you're socked with late fees, penalties, and interest charges. Making sure that if you pay on a balance, that money is applied to your highest interest outstanding debt, not your lowest interest outstanding debt, so that it's being allocated to your advantage, not to the company's advantage. And making sure, in particular, a very important provision, universal default, that if the credit card companies decide that even though you handled their account responsibly and done everything timely and correctly, if you have something else show up in your credit report, maybe you bought a second car, or you have a new home mortgage or line of credit, that they can't bump up your interest rate dramatically and without warning. That if they're going to change your interest rate and jump it, they have to give you advance notice and an opportunity to move your accounts, and they cannot do it on outstanding balances where you made purchases understanding that card is at 6% and all of a sudden it goes to 24%. So these are important changes in federal law that they have now proposed. They put those out for public comment. That means all across the country people have an opportunity to weigh in and have their say. There are a lot of proposed rules that never see the light of day. If enough critical comment is received and not enough favorable comment, they have the discretion to either kill those rules or water them down or adopt them if they get good comments. We wanted to make sure Ohioans' voices were heard in Washington and that we spoke out strongly in favor of these rules.